Hey y'all, I know I couldn't get away because I watched Lefties losing it today. Plus, I was starting to cough, so I don't know if I'll be able to do page 8 of the National Archives of JFK files. But I've done several other videos, so you can go back in there and look. But it's always refreshing to hear Miss Rita say, "Now it's time for Lefties losing it," however she says it in her accent, Australian accent. Sorry, guys. Good grief. Something's come through. Me and my husband both are coughing, but otherwise we don't feel bad. So, anyways, just the stupid cough. It's just annoying. But here you go, Miss Rita with the lefties losing it. No wonder the Democrat Party's in a 21% rating right now. But anyway, here y'all go.
It's time for Lefties losing it, and there has been much controversy among the humorless, joyless left because this alleged comic, Amber Ruffin, has been removed as the headline act for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, a tragedy for comedy.
Let's get back to the monologue. During the Houston Astros World Series victory parade on Monday, Senator Ted Cruz was reportedly hit with a beer can in the chest and neck. It missed his spine because he doesn't have one.
Oh dear. She's not only painfully unfunny, she's also a lefty losing it who intended to use the occasion to grandstand.
You're kind of a bunch of murderers.
What an idiot.
I mean,
I saw this the other
so,
day.
like, they
so
were
stupid.
Like, you need to be, equal and make sure that that you give it to both sides and blah blah blah. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be freaking doing that, dude.
Murderers. And speaking on the podcast you saw there, a far left clown site, The Daily Beast, Amber Ruffin revealed just what a nasty lefty she is, saying Republicans are not even human.
Wow.
It's just that the burns on Trump hurt badly. And then it trickles down to everyone who is around him.
Like I said before, I mean, that's what Hitler said. That basically the Jews and anybody that was not of the Aryan race was pretty much an animal. And they could treat them just however they wanted. I mean, did they not realize what their talking does? It radicalizes people. And that's why they're at 21%. Anyway.
Because y'all also guilty. So I think they got their feelings hurt. And they want that false equivalency that the media does. They want that. It feels great. It makes them feel like human beings. But they shouldn't get to feel that way because they're not.
Some people are more culpable than others.
What an idiot.
And they get more jokes made about them, and the jokes are meaner. And of course, the miserable, joyless ladies of the View thought that last line was hilarious. Look at the immediate reactions here when they played the clip.
It makes them feel like human beings, but they shouldn't get to feel that way because they're not.
What is looking like a joke?
Charming. Think they all need
that
psychological help, but just not from this next lady who claims to be a psychologist. And she has this important question for Americans.
Genuine question for Trump supporters and supporters of Musk and our.
I think this is probably a joke. If it's not, this lady needs to be taken off that medication quick, fast, and in a hurry. I saw this the other day. But yeah, it's like, what? What is going on? And then this hair looks fake, like a wig. And she sounds like she's on drugs. She also looks like that little black-haired lady from The Incredibles. Let's go look. Velma. What was her name? Not Velma. All right. Let's see here. The Incredibles. The cast. I don't want the human cast. I want the actual, like, little people. Where is it at? Oh, Edna E. Mode. That was a man? Oh, Lord. Oh, my gosh. Edna Okay. See that hair and his glasses? Ugh, what the hell? It's the haircuts. So this here and then these big, humongous glasses. Anyway.
Okay, I'm just asking a genuine, honest question for you. Is there anything anything at all that they could do to lose your support at this point?
Yes, if Trump, Musk, RFK, any of them appear with a septum ring, I'm going to assume that they have lost their minds and disregard anything they have to say. That's all it's going to take.
Oh my gosh.
Let's go back to The View and watch here as the ladies nod along like I'm thinking idiots, as this lefty, Ellie Mistal, claims that no law passed before 1965 should be respected.
My premises for the book is that every law passed before the 1965 Voting Rights Act should be presumptively unconstitutional, right? But because before the 1965 Voting Rights Act, we were functionally an apartheid country. Not everybody who lived here could vote here. So why should I give some law that some old white man passed in the 1920s, like the Immigration and Nationality Act?
Let me see if I can find
Cory Booker's dissenting.
Hold on. Let me find something here. There was Nancy Mace went on CNN and she was pretty much saying how those people weren't really. They just wanted she needs to order different. Let's see. Nancy Mace CNN panel. Politics does get personal. Professor gets upset about after or with Nancy Mace after basically, oh yeah. Hold on. Let me go back. It says Nancy Mace exposes CNN panel host flirty text after calling her racist. Hold on. Let's see if we can get this up here. Oh, this is from Lefties Losing or Sky News. Let's see if it'll let me.
Of a text message I received from I would like to also enter into the record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without
objection. And the guy says I'm gorgeous in all these photos. I don't think he's that bent out of shape on how anyone pronounces Kamala. And if we're gonna have that standard, you got to hold it to both sides, not just one or the other.
That's cool. They call her white supremacist because she said Kamala's name wrong. Anyway, let's see it. Or Sky News Australia. What an idiot. But I think that other guy was on there, this crazy haired weirdo that looks like Don King. If y'all don't know who Don King is, hold on. I know I'm probably putting out some references some people might not understand. Don King. Let's see. We've got to get the hair though. Look at this hair. What the hell's going on with this hair? Damn, look at that hair. Sticking up all over the place. Look at this frick over here. What's going on with that hair?
Ellie Mistal claims that no law passed before 1965 should be respected.
My premises for the book is that every law passed before the 1965 Voting Rights Act should be presumptively unconstitutional, right? But because before the 1965 Voting Rights Act, we were functionally an apartheid country. Not everybody who lived here could vote here. So why should I give about some law that some old white man passed in the 1920s, like the Immigration and Nationality Act?
Now, we will get to Cory Booker's descent into madness shortly, but first, the polling for the Democrats continues to hit new lows. We are now looking at 21% approval ratings for Democrats in Congress. Here is CNN.
Holy Toledo. Voters' views of the Democrats in Congress among all voters disapprove 68%. And look at the approved number, just 21%, even lower than the Democratic Party at large. This is the lowest on record for Democrats, according to Quinnipiac University polling. You think these numbers are bad? Let's go to this side of the screen. We'll look how Democratic voters feel. Get this. The plurality of Democratic voters disapprove of Democrats in Congress at 49%, and just 40% approve. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
Joining me now is host of a new program, Spot On with Link Lauren on Megyn Kelly's network. Link, even the majority of Democrats do not approve of the Democrats in Congress.
Great to be back with you, Rita. This is because the Democrats have lost their darn minds. The Democrats are also choosing these ridiculous hills to die on. If you look at the data, 79% of Americans in a recent New York Times Ipsos poll, they tell you they do not want men and women's sports. So what do the Democrats do the next day? They go out and vote to keep men and women's sports. If you look at these polls, an overwhelming majority of Americans, they support mass deportations. They support deporting criminals. What do the Democrats do? They go on TV and say, no, 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 we can't do these mass deportations. This is racist. This is xenophobic. So the Democrats are coming down on the wrong side of every single issue, and it's why people are leaving the Democratic Party in droves.
Well, you talked about the Democrats losing their minds. Here's another candidate. This is just incredible. Cory Booker talked nonstop for 24, 25 hours. This is filibustering.
One of the top stupidest questions in America. You've gotten this question. I think you would agree with me. You're not the kind of guy that uses words like, hey, this is stupid, but this is stupid. The thing I heard, stupid question.
Oh, please.
Oh, yes, heroic there. You can see the applause from the other Democrats when he broke the record for the longest speech. Tell me why.
Well, I really couldn't tell you why Cory Booker is standing there for 25 hours running his mouth. But what I can tell you is if this is the best that Democrats have to offer, if this is the face of the resistance, I think the Republicans are going to be okay. Cory Booker wants to show he's an alpha. He's a masculine guy. You're standing there in an air-conditioned room talking about nonsense for 25 hours. This is not an alpha masculine guy. President Trump got shot in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th and stood up with blood streaming down his face saying, fight, fight, fight. That is an alpha and an image of strength people can relate to. Cory Booker looked like a clown.
Well, part of the crisis facing the Democrats is that they are doubling it down on that leftist lunacy you mentioned. And part of that is attacking Elon Musk. I mean, these unhinged, demented, hate-filled attacks against Elon Musk, labeling him a Nazi, a threat to democracy. And sadly, it's backed by the media, some of this hysteria. And this is something Joe Rogan touched on recently.
Because right now they lost to Trump. They're in this scattered thing where they're trying to on everything he does, hide all the good stuff. You didn't hear a peep about Elon rescuing those people. That should have been on all of the news stories all day long. It should have been a huge national event. We're finally going to rescue the astronauts who are trapped in the space station for 8 months. And this super genius, this Elon Musk character, is the guy who figured out how to go get them. His company went and rescued them because we can't do it anymore.
He's 100% right there. They were stranded there for months. It was supposed to be a 7-day mission because NASA couldn't get them. So Elon steps in to do that. It's successful. It should have just been a moment that united the country, this moment of triumph. And yet it was barely covered because it helps Elon Musk, it helps Donald Trump.
Well, what I find so funny about these Democrats calling Elon Musk a threat to democracy, they didn't think it was a threat to democracy having a brain-dead president, Joe Biden, for the last 4 years. That wasn't a threat to democracy. Open borders, hundreds of thousands of people pouring through the border every single month, bringing fentanyl, drugs, and crime, MS-13, Tren de Aragua. That wasn't a threat to democracy to the Democrats. All of a sudden, Elon Musk, who has an American-made electric vehicle company, this is the guy they are waging war on. I think all of these people who are burning down Teslas, burning down dealerships, storming dealerships, you all have a message here. Tom Homan and Kristi Noem need to snatch you up. They need to put you on the planes and send you to Guantanamo. We can send the women of The View to Guantanamo, Meghan Markle, and then also these people who are vandalizing Teslas. You guys can all go together because Elon Musk is trying to find waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government, right? Throughout history, the person trying to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse is usually the hero, but because he's working with Trump, suddenly he's the boogeyman to the left, Rita.
How complicit is the media in these attacks we're seeing against Tesla dealerships, against Tesla drivers? 61-year-old woman was beaten. I mean, I've shown some incredible footage in recent weeks of just violent domestic terrorism. There's no other way to describe it because these attacks are politically motivated. Do you hold the media at all accountable for some of this behaviour?
So I do hold the media somewhat accountable for this behavior, the burning down Teslas and storming dealerships, because these networks like MSNBC, they're the ones who are talking to these rich, white, liberal, affluent women, and most of them are the ones going and protesting outside of Tesla dealerships. Most Americans, they got to go to work. They don't have time to stand outside the dealership with a little sign and doing a chant. They have to go and provide for their families.
Wow.
So I do hold MSNBC accountable, but they did this for years, right? They called Donald Trump a threat to democracy. They called him a dictator. They called him a Nazi, Hitler, a fascist. They smeared Donald Trump for years, and we saw the horrific repercussions of those smears.
But let's look at what actually democracy means. I don't think they realize what it means. We are a constitutional republic, but let's see what democracy means. It says the word democracy comes from the Greek word demos, meaning power or people, and kratos, meaning power. So democracy can be thought of as power of the people, a way of governing which depends on the will of the people. So they're going against democracy. These judges, activist judges, the Democrats that are out here hollering and protesting and doing the filibuster and all that stuff. I mean, the people have spoken. The majority voted for Trump. That's what we want. They are trying to subvert our will by doing that, by doing all the crazy stuff. Just saying. And then obviously let's just look up what a constitutional republic is, just so we have the receipts on all this stuff. Constitutional republic. It says a constitutional republic is a democratic state where the chief executive and representatives are elected and the rules are set down in a written constitution. Diagram of the federal government in the American Union, an example of the constitutional republic. So the U.S. is not a democracy. Is America a democracy or a constitutional republic? While often categorized as a democracy, the United States is more accurately defined as a constitutional federal republic. What does this mean? Constitutional refers to the fact that government in the United States is based on a constitution, which is the supreme law of the United States. And if it was up to the Democrats, they'd get rid of it, obviously, because it subverts their will. They want to change things in their own image. That's why I see it.
Last few years.
Now, the Democrats have been called the party of miserable women and weak men, and you've spoken about the beta male phenomenon. Explain to my audience what you mean by that, and what that means in the political climate, because we are seeing more and more young men gravitate to the right whilst women are going increasingly to the left.
So I've been talking about this a lot recently. We've seen polls, we've seen focus groups. Tons of men are shifting to the right politically. They're leaving the Democratic Party in droves. They're identifying as Republicans, as MAGA, as independents, as MAHA, because the Democratic Party is unrecognizable. They can't even define what a man or a woman is. So how is that inviting to men? And also, the Democratic Party, like you said, is run by a bunch of beta males. If you look at Tim Walz, he's a beta male. You look at Cory Booker, beta male. Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer. And then you look at the women on the forefront of the Democratic Party, Elizabeth Warren, Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman DeLauro. They are shrill, obnoxious women that no man wants to spend 5 minutes listening to. Men are also tired of apologizing for their masculinity. Men are tired of on the left having to say, I'm so sorry. Was I mansplaining? Was I being toxically masculine? Was I sitting with my legs too far apart? Was I manspreading? Men are tired of this malarkey, this tomfoolery. That's why they're shifting to the right.
Well, a man who's kind of presented himself as a alpha, masculine, Alec Baldwin, well, after that interaction we saw on the red carpet, perhaps that's not what he is. And there's been more fallout from that Alec and Hilaria Baldwin interaction, that humiliating video. I'm not going to show it again. We know what we're talking about, where she berates him on the red carpet in front of everybody. Now some industry insiders are speaking out, saying that Alec has terrorized movie sets for years, and this is a karma. Link, what have you got to say about that?
So I guess this could be some kind of karma for Alec Baldwin, but for all the men out there, listen to me. If you choose to procreate with a woman who is insane and crazy and has multiple personalities and thinks she's from Spain when she's from Boston, don't cry over spilled milk. Don't cry for me, Argentina, when things aren't hunky-dory at home. So Alec Baldwin, he knew what he was doing. He had 7 kids with Hilaria, even though she's really Hillary from Boston, okay? She's from the Spanish coast of Boston, I guess. So if you go to bed and have...
Hold on, I want to look this up too. I didn't realize... I mean, I don't care that much for Alec Baldwin. He was okay in the 90s. Baldwin, I'm just going to put it in that way. Oh, she says... Okay, it says... Hilaria Baldwin is a New York-based podcaster, author, entrepreneur, and former yoga instructor. She co-founded Yoga Vita, a chain of yoga studios in New York, and has released a wellness book and exercise DVD. Baldwin has been married to actor Alec Baldwin since 2012. Baldwin has faced criticism for allegedly misrepresenting her Spanish heritage. She's opened up about her identity and heritage in an interview with the New York Times. Let me get this out of here. See, Hillary Lynn Hayward Thomas was born in Boston, Massachusetts on January 6, 1984 to Catherine Hayward and David Thomas Jr. She is English, French, Canadian, Irish, and Slavic descent. Oh boy. She has also stated that she began to use the name Hilaria as she got older. Where the hell did the name come from? Let's see if we can go back to this article in the New York Times. Spanish accent and suspect origin story. Well, where's it at? The backlash she received over Spanish accent. Well, let's look this up. Let's look at it. This is from Entertainment Tonight on YouTube.
growing up in a way where you have multiple cultural influences on you means that you're never going to be able to fit in. You can try, you can chameleon. People who code switch were very good at chameleoning, and I'm like,
ugh, stupid. Sorry.
I want to be a little bit, and you're not even thinking about it.
Alec Baldwin's wife, Ilaria, addressing the controversy over her accent.
Personally, I believe when you go through something difficult, the sooner that you make it real, the sooner you can do something with it.
On her family's reality show, The Baldwins, the mom of 7 talks about why she switches between an American and Spanish accent despite being born and raised in Boston.
They say that it's like communication, like people who, if you ever talk to like a really old person and kind of hear, and you have to like, you notice you're like, I'm going to emphasize, yes. I'm going to speak slower, and you're not even really thinking about it, you just start to do it. You know what it's called? Code switching. I had to learn about it because the whole world was like mean to me.
As far as how the backlash all
they were mean to her because she's fake.
Married life is really nice. You know, it feels different. We have very few ingredients. We have tomatoes. We have how do you say it? Cucumbers. We think if they'll put us next to each other, we can pass notes. My husband hates
yeah, over the years, Ilaria flipped between accents, saying it was because of her Spanish heritage. But Ilaria, birth name Hillary Lynn Hayward Thomas, doesn't have Spanish roots. Her family just spent a lot of time in Spain over the years, her parents eventually moving there.
When I was growing up, in this country, I would use the name Hillary, and in Spain, I would use the name Hilaria. Yes, I am a white girl.
Now with the new TLC series, fans are getting a glimpse of how Hilaria uses Spanglish in her everyday life.
No, it looks so nice. You kidding me? No, capuchina, que no seas así. Okay, vamos. Love English. I also love Spanish. And when I mix the two, it doesn't make me inauthentic.
And when it comes to Ilaria handling the haters,
I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me sad and it didn't hurt and it didn't put me in dark places. But it was my family, my friends, my community who speak multiple languages, who have belonging in multiple places, and realize that we are a mix of all these different things, and that's going to have an impact on how we sound and an impact on how we articulate things and the words that we choose and our mannerisms.
Oh my gosh.
That's normal. That's called being human. I'm doing as best as you can.
It's fake though. Why you gotta be fake? Oh my gosh. And she wonders why somebody would be upset with her. Okay. Oh my gosh.
7 kids with a crazy woman. Don't cry over spilled milk. I have no sympathy for you. Alec Baldwin, you made your bed, lie.
That is harsh. But you know what? I cannot get over this fake Hispanic accent and forgetting English words. Well, she's not Hispanic. She's not Latin. Where is she getting this from? Before you go, how is Hollywood in general coping with a second Trump term? Is the hatred for all things Trump as deep as it's been in the past? They're finally realizing it's probably not a good idea to alienate at least half the country, or are they too set in their ways? Are they disregarding the box office and focused on their activism?
So I do think there is a little bit of a reckoning and a wake-up call happening in Hollywood. You kind of have to hit them over the head with it. They really have to have some big flops to come to terms with the fact 77 million Americans voted for President Trump, right? Republicans.
Well, since we're talking about Hollywood and even the Disney Snow White movie, let's look at that really quick. I want to see. The other day, I looked at it on IMDb. It was like a 1.5. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a 1.6 of 10. So there may have been a few awoke folks that actually went over there to watch the movie and then rated it. But it's still a 1.6 out of 10. And for whatever reason, they're showing that movie was like the #1. And I'm like, how? Unless the movies out right now are just terrible. Let's just see. Let's look at this. I'm going to look at movie theater not far from here. I just want to see what movies are even out. Movies, no, I'll just say Rockwall. Yes, I'm in Texas, but if you hadn't noticed by the Texas stuff on my wall, yeah. Let's see. So you have Minecraft, Thunderbolts, The Chosen, or Last Supper, Sinners. Who is this? Amateur. The Amateur. So it doesn't look like the movie's very good. Drop. The Chosen, The Last Supper again. The Chosen, The Last Supper. I guess part 3. 1, 2, 3, maybe. Snow White. And then The King of Kings. So it looks like they have like at least 4 Christian themed type movies. I don't know. Let's look at this really quick. So let's see. I just want to see what. Let's just see if we can even see if there's like seating. Oh, so it's a very small theater. Available seat. So this, I guess, is for tomorrow at 12:45. So it's not like people are buying up seats for this. Let's go back here. Yeah, there's one person. It's a D5 right here. It's a very small theater. Okay, so it didn't let you go any further. All right, so go back to the movies. Let's look and see what we got. Okay, so let's look at the Minecraft thing. This came out yesterday. I just want to see. So today, let's look at the 415 show. Okay, so this one, I guess, because it has some big names in it, I think Jack Black and everybody, but I mean, you do have quite a bit of people that are watching this one wanting to see it. So, I mean, I guess Hollywood's not doing too bad, but it's just like they don't have to bring their politics into every damn movie.
MAGA, they have buying power, they have purchasing power, they go to the movie theaters. They are not going to put their money where their mouth is for a project that denigrates everything conservative values stand for. And that's what we've seen in Hollywood.
Hold on, sorry, I want to go back one more thing. Let's look back at today and see if there's like anybody buying up tickets for this. I just want to see what it currently has. Okay. So today, so Cinemark, Rockwall. Oh, hold on. Okay, Disney Snow White. So the next showing is at 7:40. Yeah, I mean, this one had more people purchasing. Yeah. I guess that one's not doing so bad. But as far as their ratings and everything, that's expensive. See, this one only had 3 tickets. And this is at 10 p.m. Yeah, nobody's buying for 10:35. Why would you go to a movie that late though? Let's see if it lets us go back. Nope, it doesn't show you. Okay, anyway. as far as purchasing power, not very many people are purchasing that.
Hollywood has gone so woke, they've gone so left, they've gone so progressive, they tried to denigrate the nuclear family in this country. So I think unless they start embracing these Republicans and 77 million Americans who voted for Trump, they will continue to fade into obsolescence. Like we saw with Sound of Freedom and some of these films the last few years, there is money there. Republicans will go to the box office, but the movie has to be good and it has to speak to them.
Yeah. Yes, and it can't patronize and just be ticking boxes. This is what we are seeing with so many productions, whether it's TV or movies, where
well, even the Disney thing, that chart that I pulled up the other day.
They have to have the DEI checklist completed before they actually worry about whether it's a decent product or not. Link Lauren, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks for having me.
I just had to share that. Lefties losing it.
It's time for Lefties losing it, and there has been much controversy among the humorless, joyless left because this alleged comic, Amber Ruffin, has been removed as the headline act for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, a tragedy for comedy.
Yes, let me get out of that. I don't know what happened. I guess I stopped sharing it too fast. Anyway, I may have some more stuff for y'all in a few minutes. But anyway, y'all have a good afternoon. I'll talk to you later. Bye.